Hey folks, it's Sean Tackett, Fango fan. Quick announcement here. BooTuber's not exactly what I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to redo it, do a brand new entertainment page, and then it'll come within the next couple of days. And it will focus on promoting new artists. And we'll get to that in the next couple of days. Right now, I want to get to a little more entertainment news. Something that's been bugging me. The 2012 elections are coming up, and we know what that means. The GOP is going to start butchering and slandering Johnny Cash's name because, you know, it is. It's just going to happen. They do it every presidential election. They start slandering his name, and I am getting so sick of it. I have a message to the GOP. This is not an opinion. Not an opinion. A proven fact. Johnny Cash was not a conservative. Was not. He has never been a conservative, and the day he died, he was never a conservative. Was he a liberal? Not a true-blown liberal. He had some liberal values, and he had some conservative values. I more than likely would say he's an independent, but I don't know. He could have been a socialist. I don't know. The only people who do know are his family. Johnny Cash never made public his political voting. He just didn't. And the GOP, to think they have the nerve to take this man who they rejected for so many decades, and all of a sudden his last few months of life, oh, Johnny Cash is our hero now. We love Johnny Cash. Bull crap. You know, like John Rich, who turned his back on the outlaw community when he was like, Johnny Cash was voted for John McCain. That's right. Johnny Cash was for the poor. He was a champion for the poor. And what did the GOP do? They had a little Johnny Cash charity only for the rich. The poor was not allowed. Johnny Cash would be spinning in his grave. Sorry, folks. Proof's in the pudding. Johnny Cash was not a conservative. This is not my opinion. A proven fact. You want proof? I'll give it to you. Here we go. The lyrics to A Man in Black. Johnny Cash's big song. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but a key lyric here. Well, you wonder why I always dress in black. Why you never see me wearing colors on my back. I wear the black for the poor and the beaten down, living in the hopeless, hungry side of town. I wear it for the prisoner who has long paid for his crime, but is there because he's a victim of the times. Conservatives would never do that. Conservatives don't give a damn about poor people. They just don't. They don't care about him. Johnny Cash was a champion. He sung it in his music, and he lived it in real life. Other signs about good old Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash supported mental health associations. The conservatives are against that. Homes for autistic children. Refugees for battered women. The American Cancer Society. The YWCA. Youth for Christ and Campus Life support groups for teenagers. Humane societies, and has performed many concerts in prisons and has been a voice for the prison reform. Conservatives are against all this stuff. And you're like, but Sean, what about the Cancer Society? They're against universal health care. You know, and how much money have they poured in to help give more cancer? So they may be for some or little, maybe for the rich people who have cancer. But for the poor people and the people who don't have health insurance, they don't care. They don't care. Johnny Cash cared. Johnny Cash did all these things. And let me tell you, folks, what old Johnny Cash said about prisoners. Prisoners. There's his signature right there. Johnny Cash said this. This is what Johnny Cash said on his At Folsom Prison album. So, I have done so in California. I brought the show to Folsom. Prisoners are the greatest audience that an entertainer can perform for. Here's the sounds of the men. The country all are brothers of mine. The Folsom Prison Blues. He's calling murderers his brothers. He actually cared for prisoners and prison reform. Conservatives want people to fry. Just ask Mr. Troy Davis, who got electrocuted, and Rick Perry was gloating about frying people in the electric chair, and the conservatives were applauding. Johnny Cash would have been there protesting his electrocution. He would have been right there on the lines protesting this man's execution because he was for the prisoner who was done wrong. That's not conservatives, people! let's get on and keep going, shall we? I've got more to talk about good old Johnny Cash here. Speaking of family members, Roseanne Cash is not a big fan of the conservatives either. Roseanne Cash to John McCain. Back off. Roseanne Cash, the daughter of country music, uses blog to tell John McCain on using her father's name to bolster the Republican presidential campaign. It is unfair and presumptuous to use him to bolster any platform. I would ask my father I would ask that my father not be co-opted in this election for either side, since he is clearly not here to defend his or state his own allegiance. Naturally, this got some coverage from the press. Yeah, and here's another thing she said. Real quick, Roseanne Cash tells off John Boehner. Roseanne Cash tweeted John Boehner when Bonehead said, "We had Bob Hope, we had Johnny Cash. Think about today. We ain't got President Obama. We ain't got no Hope. We ain't got no Cash." Roseanne Cash? John Boehner, stop using my dad's name as a punchline, you asshat. Yeah. Oh, I mean, there's so much love for the conservatives, aren't there? Blah. Yeah. And what about the bitter tears of Johnny Cash? You know what, folks? Just a minute. Oh, I got something here I want to show you folks real quick. I got a new Johnny Cash album. Well, not exactly new, but an old one. Johnny Cash's Bitter Tears. Bitter Tears. This was about the Indian plight. Johnny Cash made the white man out to be the villain in these songs, talking about how the Indians signed peace treaties and how the white man backstabbed and went back on the Indians. And, it was just sickening on what he did to the Indians. And he also did a song about Custard being the villain. I also want to talk about 1972. Johnny Cash sat opposite of President Nixon in the White House. As the media, "Johnny Cash, would you be willing to play a few songs for us?" Nixon asked. "I would like to hear Merle Haggard's Ogie from Muskogee and Guy Drake's Welfare Cadillac." The architect of GOP's Southern strategy was asking for two famous expressions of white working reinstatement. "I don't know those songs," Johnny Cash said, "but I got a few of my own I'd like to play for you." He played Men in Black, What is Truth, and the Ballad of Ira Hayes, an Indian who fought in the Vietnam War and was totally spit on by the white man and the white government. Yeah, big conservative Johnny Cash was. It's all right here, folks. What is Truth? Johnny Cash is America, protesting the Vietnam War. Johnny Cash's All God's Children Ain't Free, sticking up for gays, blacks, and all minorities who get mistreated by the white man. Not a conservative value. Sorry. Let's talk about the talking song of singing the Vietnam Talking Blues, a protest against the Vietnam War. Once again, Johnny Cash was not conservative. Also, Johnny Cash, before he died, he had very strong concerns against the Iraq War. Very disturbed about the invasion before his death. This is from www.rawstory.com. Johnny Cash told the Progressive magazine that he didn't care where you stood politically, that he could love all stars and stripes, and that's why the stripes claim him. Although he retained the partisanship, he said that he was very worried. We invaded Iraq in March, and Roseanne Cash was attacked mercilessly after participating in musicians' United Way to Without War, and said my father knew that he couldn't tolerate that. So right there, folks, Johnny Cash was not a conservative. It's in the proof in his music. It's in the proof in all his music. And in the 80s, the conservatives turned their backs on Johnny Cash. They turned their backs on Johnny Cash. And they stopped buying his albums. And you know why, folks? Because he just wasn't selling anymore. And that's why he went to Rick Rubin. Why do you think he did that? And Johnny Cash, because of that, he got all kinds of Grammys and stuff, but the country music community ignored him. They didn't give him any awards. His videos didn't even get to get played there. So, Johnny Cash took out this little ad. See that? The bird? And what does it say? American Recordings and Johnny Cash would like to acknowledge the Nashville music establishment and country radio for your support. So you see, you lying two-faced hypocrites. Johnny Cash was not a conservative. He does not belong to the GOP. He belongs to all of us. All Americans. He is not yours to play with and to plottle with. Roseanne Cash will tell you boys where to stick it. So remember, GOP, you lost Johnny Cash. He was never yours. So get over it and move on, you two-faced bunch of lying, puke-faced hypocrites. Hey, folks, and I did forget to mention a few things. The Grand Ole Opry loved Johnny Cash so much that Mr. Roy Acuff kicked him out of the Grand Ole Opry and banned him when Johnny Cash did his light bulb foot stumping incident. And you're like, yo, but several years later, he did get invited back. Maybe so, but you know what? Johnny Cash is still not a member of the Grand Ole Opry. He's not. He is not a member, and neither is Hank Williams. And they're trying to get Hank Williams reinstated to that, but Johnny Cash is not a member. And by the way, just because you conservatives say Johnny Cash is a conservative because he sings about God and is patriotic, Christina Aguilera is patriotic, and she sings about God, and she's a liberal. And let's talk about Roseanne Cash, shall we? Oh, Roseanne Cash sings about God, and she loves America and sings about this country, but guess what? She's not a GOP conservative. So, once again, Johnny Cash does not belong to you people. He just doesn't. He belongs to all of America. And, you know, get over it. I mean, you guys have your singers, you know, who kiss your ass, like Hank Williams Jr., Aaron Tippin, Dwayne Allen of the Oak Ridge Boys. I mean, Bang Bang Shoot 'em Up, Ted Nugent. You guys got your nuts. I mean, Johnny Cash belongs to America. He was always for the poor. In fact, when he started his Rick Rubin albums again, it was the young hippies and the punk rockers that made him. Johnny Cash said he loved these people. And conservatives, you guys hated people like that. You couldn't stand him. Watch the video, God's Gonna Cut You Down. That song is basic. Rick Rubin said that was a song. Johnny Cash did that song scolding you guys for what you've done to the Republican Party. You destroyed it. And Johnny Cash basically made that song for you. Look at all the people who are in it. The Dixie Chicks. I mean, look at all the people who are in this video. It's definitely not a conservative-friendly video. I can tell you that right now. So get over it, conservatives. Johnny Cash was not a conservative. Never has. He never will be. It's not an opinion. It's not an opinion. I'm going to put links up to a lot of the information I gave. It's a fact. And just like you guys in old Ricky Perry does in Texas, you guys hate facts so more, you change them. You know, like the history books, like there ain't no slavery, that wasn't due to the Civil War and stuff. You guys are freaking stupid. Deal with the facts. Learn to live with it.